Good evening, friends. Welcome back in Sao podcast of Secrets of Astrology. And as you know that we have done one series with Astromaster on the tropical and sidereal astrology. And one of the query from a very senior member and very knowledgeable person came in social media regarding the view of true and mean node. Friends, this is a question which withholds both the Siddhanta and the Hora or Falit. Siddhanta has its own mean, but Falit has its own outlook towards these two particular true and mean of notes. So I thought of that respected Ramesh Waygaonker, who himself is a very Siddhant Vedda, a versatile astrologer, our team member. So I thought of that there has to be one discussion between the Siddhant and Falit, and that will be between Shri Ramesh Waygaonker and Gurudev Shri Udyotkar Jha, Shri UK Jha sir. So, Ramesh Dada, I am handing over this August platform or stage to you, and please proceed this conversation on behalf of Siddhant and Hura both. Ramesh Dada.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Anupam Shukla.
Namaskar, sir.
And salute to the Master UK Jha. As you have mentioned about
Namaskar, sir. Senior.
Namaskar, sir, Namaskar. As you have mentioned, a critical and fallacious topic about the true node and mean nodes. Basically, the nodes are a calculative points that how does they affect in prediction and what is their difference. I want to know from sir that what is the difference if we calculate the true node or we calculate the mean node, and then we take it for the cognition for the prediction. Then there will be, what will be the difference? Is there any difference or not, sir?
As we know, calculations are made both for the true node position and the mean node positions. Now, true node keep on changing as we know. So we often take mean node because Vedic sages applied the principle of average and mean only. They did not go piece by piece. Now suppose in the same chart, we take the true value of node and we recast and we take the mean value of the node. What will be the difference? The difference is not very much. It is nominal, marginal. But at the boundary case, there can be chances of node shifting to other sign. That means the position of the node can change from one sign to other sign when it is on the boundary line.
Yes, sir.
Because of that, what will happen? We will go for the aspect wise, the aspect of node in the horoscope. And aspect does matter. But as you being an expert know well, that aspects are also the function of longitudinal difference between the two planets. This is clear from the fact that when we calculate the aspectual value of the aspecting and aspected planet, we take the longitude, and on the scale of 360-degree, as we generally take, the difference between true node and the mean node becomes negligible. That means there will be not substantial difference in aspectual value. Since it has been put into our mind, and that has got jutted into our head, that we will not go into these things, and from the sign position we will start looking the aspect of the nodes. And generally, as everybody knows, nodes have the same aspect as Jupiter. In fact, in one of the verses of Brihad Parasar Hora, nodes have been given 12th aspect also, in addition to 5th, 7th, and 9th. But aspectual value wise, it will not make much difference. So whenever we are in such a dilemma as to what should be done, then we should go for aspectual value for finding out how much it is affecting by its aspect.
Sir.
The second thing that may come is we often go for astute yogas for calculating critical degrees of the horoscope, because those are the points from where a transiting planet is expected to trigger the effect. So there can be some difference when we calculate the critical point with the true node and the mean node. But suppose that happens, what will happen? Our prediction of materialization of effect will get shifted by few days this way or that way. And that is not a very big thing. We are not going to predict the things exactly by week, days, and time on the watch. We give a period between this and this period. Such type of effect may come to pass during the currency of life of the native. So this true node and mean node may be of mathematical importance, may have the computational significance for proving the brilliance, but on the part of prognosis and from the predictive point of view, I don't think that it is going to make some considerable or larger difference. That is my opinion.
Yes, sir. Uh, I think that as you told that it is the useful for calculative part only, and I think so that our seers were not so authentic while they have taken all the average method, and they have taken the mean motion of the Rahu is 3 minutes and 11 seconds per day. But as the advent of the science, many apparatuses have been astronomers have developed and find out the position, accurate position of the node. And I think so that it is the accurate position of the node or true node is due to the wobbling of moon, because Earth takes round around the sun west to east and not equally, not in exactly in elliptical path. and due to the wobbling, this position changes. And while calculating the true node, it also happens that node shows the direct motion also. What's about opinion about it, sir? Direct motion? Should it be taken for cognition for the prognosis?
Yes, sometimes it does happen what you are telling. But whether it is direct or in permanent mode of retrogression, because ultimately we are going to converge to the purpose of going for the effects while delineating a chart. So what I mean to say that mathematically we can see the difference. I have also told sometimes the position of nodes sign wise also differ. But there is a telling, there is a saying in astrology which I am sure you are well aware of, that savants, olden days savants used to say that the spirit of astrology gets crushed under the load of heavier and finer mathematics. So what we are trying to establish here is only the finer part of the mathematics. But that finer part is not going to certainly enhance our accuracy, because it is very difficult to predict that certain event will manifest on certain days at so much time with so much hour, minute and second. So these confabulations are definitely of mathematical interest. But in astrology, as we know, mathematics is only for the starting the chart or casting the chart. After that, when we talk of Siddhanta, here there is a difference. People often think that Siddhanta means astronomical books. For example, Brahma Siddhant, Surya Siddhant, Makarand, Ketki, Rudra Sanhita, etc. But ultimately, in astrology, we are going for the purpose of future telling or finding out about the manifestation of events, its probability, chances of manifestation, and accuracy in prediction. And for that, there are so many other types of calculations given by the occultists for which we don't have any actual reason why those have been taken. But we go. For example, we don't know why should planet Venus infuse sexual currents into us. Astronomically, it is very, very difficult to explain it. Obviously, these vibrations were studied by the occultists from some very different plane of observation through extra sensual perceptions beyond the realms of physical measurements. And what happens in sidereal astrology, when we apply different types of anons, again the value becomes different. So even in sidereal type, we don't remain on the same platform because we don't have a uniform opinion or uniform acceptance about any anons. But as you know, this hype of anons was created long back, I don't wish to name, because of certain reasons by certain people. This was told to me when I got an opportunity to meet him, Pandit Hardev Sarma Trivedi, who was pretty old that time when I met. And I can't actually disclose his opinion about that time. But I agree to that. And whatever I am telling is almost moving on the same slender curves of an unwanted controversy. So this point of true mean and true node and mean node also somewhere garrets around the same thing. Suppose for some time in some horoscope, the true node is found to be direct. What difference does it make? After all, we know that some planets we call retrograde planets. What do we do in that case? What is given in the books, except for Uttar Kalamrit, no book has given very critical observation about it, except for agreeing to the one point that a retrograde planet becomes strong. And the simple reason for that, that a planet, when it goes for retrogression, it becomes nearer to Earth. On that same theory and same logic, I want to put one question, that when we are going for also the daily distance or the weekly distance of the planet from the Earth, ephemeris.
Sir, sorry to interrupt you. You are on mute.
Sir, unmute, please.
Ready?
Please carry on, sir.
So what I was telling, that even if in some horoscope, suppose we take true node, and at that particular epoch of time, we find that it was direct, momentarily, when the birth took place. Even if it happened so, what impact it is going to have on predictive side? Because planets become retrograde, and books agree on only one point, that a retrograde planet becomes strong. The reason of its strength is that it becomes nearer to Earth. So it is presumed that its effect has enhanced on the Earth. But if that is the criteria, then my question is that we should in ephemeris also give at least weekly distance of the planets from the Earth, to know that how far or how nearer it is to the Earth, for knowing how much effect it can give. Suppose the planet is exalted, but at that time or the time of birth, that planet is very far off from the Earth, then naturally we'll think that its effect will be less compared to the position when it is nearer to the Earth. So these are all things for discussion, and books don't take all these things into consideration. Retrograde planet has been a topic of controversy since beginning. I know, and I have a copy when Astrological Magazine had a special issue on retrograde planet. Many Western astrologers who were following sidereal astrology also participated, and their essays were published in that. Many things were written about that, but those things are in fact not given in our books. Uttar Kalamrit has given few points about retrograde planet, but at times, if you go into deeper side of that, you will find that it looks logically absurd. So that appears to be merely a guesswork of the author. And why I am stressing on the point guesswork, that even if it is taken, and I think it is true, that that book Uttar Kalamrit was written by great Kalidasa only, who also who was perhaps contemporary to Baraham here and who respected Baraham here. He has also used somewhere the line Kyato Baraham Hirasya. He was knowing this. And then we all know that he was not very adept in mathematics. We cannot take his adroitness in mathematics for granted, and even in that Uttar Kalamrit, many computations can be seen which is wrong, that is given there. So this controversy, I don't know where it is going to lead us to about the true node and the mean node. Because if we go on the predictive side, ultimately we will go for only those things like spectral value, like sport yoga and other similar things. Waygaonker sir.
Yes, sir. Uh, as you have mentioned, sir, that for the prognosis and manifestation, uh, accuracy should be there. And accuracy without the mathematics, it won't be possible. So, as you also mentioned, that the apogee and perigee of the planets, the farthest point
Here
and shortest point.
I would like to stop you, sir. About
Yes,
this
sir.
accuracy in mathematics, with accuracy in prediction. Then, as we all know, all signs exactly
Yes,
30
sir.
trigonometric.
Yes, sir.
There is a difference.
Yes,
Do
yes.
we calculate that thing? Actually, these are the controversies that led to unequal division of houses and for development of few systems which are, in my opinion, gormless and misleading.
Even then, even then, we should have to follow, sir, something, because
Naturally, so
otherwise,
it is
we can
naturally.
take anything, any horoscope as abruptly.
See,
This is the
we
problem.
can see, our
Any
basic
system,
thesis went.
either Caspal system or Porphyry's method or any calculative method, we should have to adapt, because without that we cannot erect the horoscope. And if we will
Agreed,
not,
sir. This agreed, sir. This is about erection of horoscope. But then we see we are going when we are calculating the time period through the SAS system. We invariably take the 360 days in a year. We don't go by 365 days and 6 hours, etc.
yes, yes.
So,
Actually,
Let us
sir,
take in that way.
so
ancient
I,
ancient persons are,
I,
एक
I'm
minute, Hanu. Ancient persons were taking everything on an average point. Even then, you have given very nicely and lucidly the explanation about the true note and uh,
mean note.
mean note. That is accurately needed or not needed. That is up to. But all the positions of these true note are not available in any ephemery, as you mentioned. It should be. And along with this, apogee and perigee of the planets, along with the declination, should also be shown in the ephemeris and alemnox also. But no ephemery gives us such coordinates of astronomical coordinates of the planets, they except only the longitude. And on the longitude basis, we cannot calculate everything.
So, friends, as you have seen that this is the greatness of astrology of seers, that there was a great discussion between the Siddhanta and the Hora part from two of the legends. And you know that I am thinking of while proceeding in this conversation, that this conversation has to go on larger frame. Why? If I'm going to consider true notes, and if they are going to get directed also, then what is happening in the Tajik yoga when we are applying separating and approaching kind of thing? Then what will happen when we are dealing with Rahu always as retrograde planet in a very leading system? I'm not going to name it here. I'm going to give due respect to that system also. And what will happen when Sarvato Bhadra Chakra is also dealing with the same total ever time retrogression position of the Rahu? How we are
Yes,
going to infuse these
exactly.
mathematically correct points? So that was my take, and I ask and I request both of you to close this conversation. I think in 3-4 minutes. Time is with us around 4 to 5 minutes more. Please carry on, sir. Uh, I request both of you to have a concluding remark, because I have opened this conversation for the other friends also to have their look on the Tajik yogas, on the system where retrograde planet is always disregarded in a different manner in the questions, horary, and in Sarvato Bhadra where Rahu is always treated as a retrograde planet. So you must have your closing remark from Astromaster UK Jha and respected Ramesh Dada.
Mathematically, I fully agree with Waygaonker Sahab that there should be accuracy. But this accuracy at the cost of what? And how far we can fetch that accuracy? Because our all principles are based on only longitude of the planet. So if we will go into those things, considering declination, etc., into consideration, definitely we will have to again develop a new theory, and that development or that research is welcome.
Yes.
Waygaonker
Uh,
Sahab.
yes, sir. With this, I would like to conclude it that in almanacs and ephemeris, all these apogee, perigee, declination, right ascension, because every planet has four coordinates: longitude, latitude, declination, and right ascension. All the four coordinates, and it won't be possible that all the four coordinates are same. In such condition, all these things should be elaborately mentioned in almanacs as well as the ephemeris. Then only we can proceed or take into cognition the true node. Otherwise, it won't be possible for us to take into cognition for the true node, because no ephemeri, true node, everybody mention, they calculate, but nobody, no software or nobody or nowhere mentioned that Rahu is in direct motion, because it is momentarily. It is for very, very short time. And that time should be recorded. It should be mentioned in the ephemeris. Then only we can, otherwise it won't be possible for us. And we are constrained to take the mean Rahu. Or even after taking the true Rahu, it will be treated as mean Rahu. Because nowhere it is mentioned that it is in direct motion. So I also think that it should be in calculative part, and not more effect on the prognosis of a horoscope. I think so.
Right. Agree.
So, I'm going to thank you both of you, and for this very knowledge giving and healthy discussion. And friends, we are open for any discussion, but more important that we are not putting anything on the anvil of logics or on the doubts regarding astrology of seers. Rather, we are looking for certain things which science has invented, and we are looking how to consider them and where are things are going to correlate, and what drashta or the seers has seen through their eyes, through their atyendri. So, from this note, I'm thank you all of you, and we'll join you soon in another good discussion between, we can say, Sahita and Hora. Thanks a lot to both of you.
Thank you.
Thanks.